Hello, and welcome to the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of Indie PopCon, Gen Con, and the gaming capital of the world, we are the Established Facts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 181 of The Established Facts. This is our second part of our fun, Session 0 with Lance. We're going to go ahead and go around the table and let you guys give you an update on what we have been doing and what we're going to be doing a little bit in this game, and then we'll just get right back into our characters. So we'll go ahead and go around the table like we did earlier, introduce yourselves and your character, and if you want to go ahead and give us the location that you are from. You know what? We do have an update as well. Let's go ahead and give our relationships with the people that we are next to. So we'll go ahead and start with Joshi to my left. So give your name, character name, and then the association of the people to your right and left.
And your count.
My name is Josh, playing Illuman from Lake Thomas, who is a rival with Downton Abbey.
Logan.
Oh, yeah.
And a distant relative to Iska.
I'm Avital. I'm playing Iska. Eloman is a distant relative, and my island is Rival Islands with Josh and Addie.
I am Prime. My character's name is Jordan. I am from Josh and Addie. Sorry, I can't talk. My rival island is Triple D. And my distant relative is Iska.
This is Dr. Deb. My character's name is Triple D. My land's name is Debrecen. I am a distant relative to Jordan. And my rival island is... I wrote it down.
Vanvania.
Vanvania, that one. Yeah, Vanessa's island is my rival island.
So I'm from Vanvania, obviously. I'm Vanessa. My character's name is Hayes. My relative is Slogan from Downton Abbey, and my rival is DDD from Debrecen.
DDD. All right.
We also had a winner.
Yeah.
Sorry, Don. He's my rival. I don't care.
That's it.
In real life and that game.
That's right.
Your islands are rival islands. Not necessarily.
No, we're definitely... No, Josh and I have definitely always been rivals. Of course, we have our esteemed GM.
You forgot to say your rival
And your name.
Your
and
name.
I was
and your
trying to help
character
out Lance back there
one
for
at
a
a
second,
time.
and then I was
One
going to
at a
introduce.
time. You're skipping over.
Whose show is this?
I don't know.
Who hosts this show?
It's ours, because we own all the
And I am, of course, am your unable to control
All right,
the
fine.
podcast
His name
host.
is Don. His character's
That's right.
name is Slogan.
No, my name is Big
He
Don.
is from Downton Abbey.
I'm from
He's-
Downton Abbey. My name is Slogan.
His
Obviously,
relative
Vanessa
is me.
and I are distant relatives, very distant relatives. No,
And his rival is
my
Josh.
rival,
Your rebel.
my rival,
Is
Ribald.
my rival is Gila Monster, Eloman from Thomas Lake,
Lake Thomas.
and my occupation is
We haven't done occupation.
Herald.
Save it for the competition, Harold.
Oh yeah.
And of course, my name is Lance, and I will be running this peanut gallery monkey circus.
A monkey circus.
So what has been going on so far is the players have met each other. The characters have met each other. The players know each other for a long time. They met each other at the Contest of Champions, wherein they are competing to find out which of the ability attributes they are going to be known as the Acolyte of. We had one competition. It was for the Acolyte of Charisma. We played Super Fight, where your team of 3 other characters had to tell us how they defeated the Jabberwocky, and Josh Prime and his team literally defeated by removing the feet of the Jabberwocky, making him and his team from the Jordan team the acolyte of
Josh and Eddie.
dexterity. We are
Not dexterity,
acolyte of charisma. We are now moving on to
The
find
land
out
of hill
who is going to
giants.
be the acolyte of dexterity, and for that, I have the fun little family game of Operation by Milton Bradley. Players, you only have to remove the Charlie horse piece from the standard game, but with one twist. Each time the buzzer sounds, I will add 10 seconds to your time. If the buzzer sounds continuously, like you just don't care about the patient and just want to go digging around, you will be disqualified from the round. The one to complete this task in the least amount of time will become the acolyte of dexterity. So we're going to go ahead and play real quick, just one person at a time. Go in there, and I will start the timer for, let's see, we're going to start with Deb. And on your mark,
You're not going to tell them it's attached to a car battery.
get set, go.
Don't touch it.
Ooh. And there's thunder in the background.
Now remember, she's a
Adds some
doctor, so she should be
ambiance.
able to do this in record
She
time.
is a doctor, but she's
without.
not a surgeon.
Well, so
Anyone
I
is a
don't
doctor
have
to be
I don't
surgeon.
use these tools when I'm a doctor. I promise.
Anyone
doesn't
can do
use these
surgery.
tools.
I don't.
do you want your own tools, Dr. Deb?
Yes.
I said we can use them, but you have to connect them to a car battery.
You're not putting my wife on a car battery, okay?
Well, we're not that
Well,
far
she
from the
doesn't
hospital.
have to. She doesn't. Yeah, not again. She doesn't have to
I
use
have
her
grabbed it
tools.
6 times and I won't hold on. So I'm not sure what else to do, frankly.
I
a
mean,
wild
I've never
stallion.
played Operation before, so
Sure,
Yeah.
I didn't either.
I can't.
Yeah, yours was like you were
I got it,
starting
but I can't
a
won't lift.
chainsaw.
That's not very nice.
It was
Yeah,
true.
I just want to make sure the whole world knows. I grabbed it
Surgery
like 6
per
times before
chainsaw?
it went off the first time and it wouldn't grip.
Well, it's not like it's heart surgery. You're not timed. It can take 4
Well,
hours.
technically you are timed, but
Well, they're not going to die on a
It's
Charlie
out.
horse.
Hey.
Ah, she got it!
If I
Yay!
had had proper hemostat or splinter forceps,
yeah. And if the patient would have stopped moving,
And not
and
had
wouldn't have
electrical
been
current
connect-
running through his
wouldn't
body.
have had an electrical
Great
current
sedation
running
and was
through
doing
it.
very well. Prep that way was just
Okay,
Deb,
wife of
you
mine, you can
officially
take your
did
mic
it
back.
in 1 minute 4 seconds, but since you hit 7 times, we're going to say you did it in 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
You
Still
can
beat
take your
Josh.
mic back now, hon.
I'm going to go upstairs
All right.
and I'm going to get the hemostats. And I have
For the sake of time, let's go ahead and pause the recording, and we'll come back after everyone has gone. All right. Sorry to make that break so quickly, but Operation can tend to take a very long time, especially if you've never played before, right, Josh?
I don't talk about it.
So coming in at last place, we disqualified Josh because he, after 12 times hitting the thing and then just digging around, I was going to stop it at 5 minutes. Coming in after that was Iska at 2 minutes and 19 seconds.
That's me.
Triple D and Jordan both tied at 2 minutes 14 seconds.
So weird.
Hayes came in a very close second at 34 seconds, but it turned out that Slogan, which is it going to be?
Slogan.
Slogan at 23 seconds, never hitting the sides.
Boom.
I will
Congratulations.
say,
way to go, Doc.
because I hit the sides, I was the very first one to hit the sides. It shocked me like you would not believe. I launched up. I threw the whole
It was impressive. She was just-
We had to retrieve her from the next door neighbor's house.
Well,
It was insane.
I gotta ask, Lance, did you put new batteries in that thing?
Brand new battery.
Brand new
Yeah.
batteries.
Brand new.
That's what it's
next
like.
time
Here,
we're
you go
gonna next time we're
first.
gonna hook it up to lithium
Now,
ion.
I want you to bear in mind that is a newer version of Operation because
Okay.
the old version used D cells.
Oh, goodness.
This is just double A's.
Yeah, but I know that. D cells, on the other hand, and this is interesting. I found this out the other day, too. Triple A's and double A's have the same voltage. Like, they're just different sizes. So it's the same until you go to, like, 9 volt, I think, where they actually have a different voltage.
Well, yeah, I mean D's, C's, D's,
Double D's.
A's, double D's,
Triple D.
quadruple F's. They all are like 1.5 volts.
Oh,
Well,
Okay.
watching the arc go
Anyway,
across
yes.
that,
All right.
it did not
The
surprise me.
electrical
a bit
arc.
that it shocked me.
Congratulations to Slogan. You are the acolyte of dexterity.
Yeah.
And you will be the first person to answer the following.
Got it.
I want you all to think about the history of your island. What
Okay.
does it look like? What are its resources? What values are important to its residents? And who is a famous person from there? Don, since you won, you get to choose first.
Okay, so you, if you can give me that list, I can answer them as we go down.
Just give me some background information about your particular
Okay.
island. I was just giving you some ideas.
Got
The
you.
ideas were, what does it look like? What are some of its resources?
Gotcha.
What values are important to residents? And who is someone famous from there? You can use those, you can discard them, but tell me about your island. It's my island.
It's Moy Island. And a famous person.
Again, you don't have to.
I know, but I want to, so I'm writing it down. Okay. So, Downton Abbey is a fairly urban island. So, there are lots of buildings and living areas. And really, Downton Abbey's main resource is their artisans. So they actually take in a lot of raw products or a lot of raw consumables from the other islands, and they turn them into different medicines and different structures and architecture. They are leaned on for structural architecture and engineering. They are not a quote-unquote high-tech civilization, but they are forward in kind of the progress of what would be kind of the technology around them. They tend to have a lot of very brilliant minds that will go out and also assist with several of the other islands when it comes to setting up their own, say, for example, aqueduct system, sewage and plumbing, and being able to kind of explain how it all works and making sure it works efficiently. Downton Abbey's values, they tend to be very open-minded to a lot of different walks of life. They do, unfortunately, sometimes get caught up in all of the things that they contribute on a more refined level, so they can tend to be a little
Hoity-toity.
yeah, a little egotistical about the things that they do. Highbrow is probably a little bit better way to put it. They can be a little highbrow. They're not necessarily abusive to those who would be in more of the laborious fields, such as like a farmer or a miner or somebody like that. But they are a little highbrow, and they kind of have a little bit higher expectations, yes.
So you being the acolyte of dexterity, not, say, the acolyte of intelligence, how would you be treated?
I think as an acolyte in general, it is definitely kind of it is a celebrated position, but with dexterity comes the ability to shape and work very small, intricate machinery and tinker with different things. So there's still an avenue to be able to build a lot of really neat things, but because it doesn't necessarily focus on the full-on engineering, I would say to a normal person that was more dexterous in nature, they're probably not going to fall into the majority of the fields of like technology and advancements through like medicine and things like that. But they could, if there is a, Downton Abbey, they do have some advances when it comes to mobility with armaments and things like that, being able to move like small platoons of troops in and out of areas and do a lot of... So that's probably where you're going to find a lot of the dexterous stuff. Now, when it comes to famous people, one of the most famous citizens of Downton Abbey is Xandon. I'm throwing this right out here. Xandon O'Doul. And he was...
He's not quite as alcoholic as regular Xandon.
Right, absolutely. So Xandon O'Doul, Zanden, O'Doul, he was the headmaster of the university in Downton Abbey, which is now responsible for most of the experimental research when it comes to advancing lots of different things in their island area. So Zandon O'Doul would be kind of the original headmaster of the Downton Abbey University of Engineering and Technology.
Fantastic. Illuman.
So, Lake Thomas is known as a farming community. We are the largest export of fruits and vegetables, as well as other herbal trades. However, this kind of came from its history.
Fruits and vegetables and produce, or okay.
Herbal trades.
Herbs.
Just herbs. Originally,
Spice.
Originally, when the lake was founded, it was founded as a tourist community. But over the years and the centuries, with these other, championship tournaments, it became a more closed off area and became more self-sufficient. And once they realized how sufficient they were, they then took the economic approach and began selling outside of the borders. The famous person from here is a gentleman by the name of Win Fairview. He invented hydroponics for herbal supplements because he realized that stuff will grow in the lake. And once he figured out how to monetize that, it helped make Lake Thomas the farming experts that they are today.
Very cool. Iska.
All right. Shangri-Lavi. I just laugh every time I say that. Shangri-Lavi is, as the name would imply, generally kind of peaceful and self-sufficient. They don't care that much about extra, riches and things that they can't get on their own island because, they produce what they need.
Bless you.
And they do have lots of people that are good for, good musicians and good at many different varieties of, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like sort of stress management. They have people that are like kind
The
of
best spas ever.
I mean, yeah, spas and like therapists and things like that. Mm-hmm. So that is kind of their export. Mm-hmm. It's not exactly an export, but like people can go out and find work on the other islands as,
They're the resort island.
Therapeutic. I mean, yeah, that wasn't like their intention, but it just kind of happens that way. And then people can find a job if they want jobs doing that type of thing on other islands because they're just very good at that. Helping people relax.
So traveling massage therapist / mental therapist, or come to our place.
That type of thing.
Cool.
There's not really any like specific one person that's like a big name, just because everybody all like works together and the things with the acolytes. Those are kind of the names that are remembered, but. They try not to place too much emphasis on that since, everyone has value to add to the society.
I gotcha. Okay. Jordan.
All right, so my island, Joshinati, is also known as a farming community. However, they specialize and they're known for their exceptional horse breeding. So
an equine society.
Yeah, so one person in particular, Archie Landon, bred the largest horse in recorded history. And so that's what they specialize in, importing or exporting out their horses and things like that. So, yeah.
Cool. Triple D.
What? How can I do this?
So,
Triple D and daughter.
exactly. So see, I've forgotten the name of my own place. Debrecen. That's it. That's mine.
And since it's a real place, you actually have to look it up on Wikipedia.
Yeah, exactly. Except I didn't. I spared myself that pain because I got a little bit distracted and busy in the last few weeks. Few days, few hours, few minutes. Debrecen is known as the. They have the best architectural artisans known. They are so there. It's artistry, but it's every form of architecture. So they have stonemasons, they have wood carvers, they have. They work with bamboo. They work with even unusual, like you didn't think that you didn't think that you could actually make a house out of paper, but actually that's
such
actually
a
one of the
balsa wood skyscraper.
Exactly, precisely. They are the place where you would go to find the Ice Palace that is made. They start working on it at the beginning of every November. And it is where the Queen resides between about the middle of November to the early March. And then people come from all over a variety of other islands to see this ice palace that's made. And no, the Queen's name is not Elsa, but there's been a discussion that maybe. There's a lot of communication between my island and Don's Island. I'm having a moment. Downton Abbey. Yes, because they have access with their science and with their development. So there are times when we will have mutual research and development.
We have a very open trade market for technology and planning.
We do. And a lot of our thoughts go to them and then back, and we have a lot of our developers will go to study on his island, and then they'll come back with ideas and back and forth.
Yes.
So our most famous creator, his name was I'm literally writing it down. Okay, not that one. No, I'll tell you guys off mic what I actually wrote down. I went, no, that can't have them.
Family friendly, Deb.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So our most famous creator is Jason, Jacin, Devane. He is the only person known to man who has created an entire house out of paper mache. He actually wouldn't reveal what the secret was, except to his closest family members, because he makes him quite a bit of money. Because people who want paper mache to be strong enough that you can stand on it and actually live in it have to go to him. A lot of artisans, use his formula, and so he makes quite a bit of money. So his family is quite wealthy due to this discovery. So
does it rain there very much?
No, actually, it's a pretty dry climate. It rains only about 3 times. Well, they have a rainy season and a dry season, but even in the rainy season, it isn't very much. So, what is that? Kind of Nebraska. We're not in a desert, but it's still that very dry, plain kind of thing. Not a whole lot of rain. So
not really that dry in Nebraska.
Well,
she's just making it up.
I'm making it up. I was like, Arizona? But Arizona's a desert. I need a place.
New Mexico.
There you go. Kind of like Santa Fe. That's
Texas? Oklahoma. Alaska.
The Gobi Desert.
The Gobi Desert. Savannah, Georgia.
It's pretty dry. Pretty dry. But yeah, paper mache that does not melt and paper mache that's incredibly strong. That's what he was famous for. So I'm done now.
And Hayes.
Okay. So Vanvania has a long history that people don't really know much about.
You're going to tell us.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No, it's a very solitude place. They don't really branch out at all with others. They don't talk with others. They don't trade with others. It's a very mysterious place. They don't play well with others. They do not play well with others. They have always pretty much been like they have been. Everyone has known it to be exactly like it has been. It doesn't like change. There are a few resources that they are known for are soldiers and some other unknown trade that seems to be going out, but people aren't quite sure what it is. Things that are important to them are honor and integrity. A famous person there is Dalad Vracula. But nobody really knows why. And it is very misty there, so it's very hard for people to kind of look and see what's actually going on.
Okay, very mysterious island with
It
the
is.
famous person, Dalad Vlacula.
Glad Dracula.
Mysterious.
Misty.
Yes.
Rius.
Very misty.
D.
Hey. All right, folks, and that was the discussion for the Acolyte of Dexterity. Congratulations again to you, Don. We're going to move on to find out who is going to be the Acolyte of Wisdom. So the remaining players will now play Hasbro's Connect 4. This one's pretty straightforward. Get 4 in a row before your opponent, and you move on to the next round. The one who wins the final round will become the Acolyte of Wisdom. As there are 4 of you, we're just going to do 2-on-2, and then the final 2, the winners will compete against each other. So go ahead and roll to find out who is going to play against who. Odd numbers will roll against each other. If there are too many odd numbers,
Even.
Odd.
then
All right, there you go.
Okay, so that'll be how we do it, and we'll pause the recording and we'll come back with who is the winner. Okay, so that was very exciting stuff. It was lots of hooting and hollering. There was a couple of times where people thought they got a Connect 4 and it was only 3. One person got a 5 in a row but didn't even notice, so they didn't get the win until the other person called it out. And ultimately,
Listen, we all make our mistakes. We don't have to point fingers.
I wasn't pointing fingers, but since you're the one that brought it up, good job, Josh. You could have won, but you failed. And since we've had a loser, let's just celebrate who the winner was, and that was Deb. Deb got the final Connect 4, winning and letting her character, Triple D, become the Acolyte of Wisdom.
I
So-
still think she cheated.
I am just saying it's meant to be because I always play clerics, and clerics have high wisdom scores, so it was meant to be. So let's just go with.
Paladins.
Yeah,
It has
I
been
was
a
right
success.
there
So
at
is
that 4. And you snuck in, and somehow I don't know. You have to have one of those
was
coin
meant to
things in
be.
your.
She
Yes.
is wise.
And going along with wisdom, our question is about religion. So you all, your deities on your sheets are, what are their names again?
Those who came before.
Yeah.
Those who came before. So I want you to tell me
That's their names.
what your island or what your temple on your island, since that's where you've been raised since your childhood, discuss something about your deities, what your temple subscribes to as philosophies, virtues, and sins, and in what form does your worship take? Do you pray? Do you sing? Do you sacrifice a virgin? And since you won, Deb, we're going to start with you.
Okay, no pressure. All right, so the island of Debrecen has long espoused that those who came before guided us in understanding of the virtues, the 4 sacred virtues, which are beauty, order, balance, and simplicity. So you even see this in the way that their architecture and their design. I said that our island has the most famous architects, but they're famous because of how simple and how elegant. They don't believe in going overboard with design. They believe that that's just that they're simple, precise, symmetrical, balance, all of those things, and it goes along with a religion. In that tone of simplicity, they don't do a lot of the idea of a church service where you have to go through a certain religious order. They believe that that also is too much. They're very much about each person seeking balance and beauty within themselves. So meditation is a very important part. In fact, every morning, right after dawn, there will be a ringing of a chime that comes from the temple, and at that time, everyone spends the next hour in meditation. Prayer is part of this, but it's that quieting of the mind, centering of yourself, kind of finding within yourself that balance before you begin your day is their primary way of doing it. They do have 2 holy times where they do get together as a group, and that occurs in both the spring and in the fall. At the spring solstice time and at the fall time of harvest, where they all go to the temple together, and at that time there is group meditation actually where everyone is silent for about 15-20 minutes, and then it's a process of giving thanks in the fall, giving thanks for the harvest and for the bounty that came in during the harvest time, and in the spring it's a time of thankfulness that once again they've reached the warmth of spring and asking for a good harvest to come. And so that's twice a year, but that's really their only formal group gatherings. They believe that those that came before were deific, so they don't believe they were people. They believe they were deities, and that they espoused these beliefs. And then, but they don't really believe in the process of a priesthood or anything. They don't really believe that anyone's above anyone else. We are there. There is balance. There is we're all on equal playing field. So it's not that there are, in the Israelite tradition, you have the prophets, the priests. No, they believe that everyone is equal. We're on the same playing field. Before the deities, we are all one.
So anyone can bless you. Anyone can.
Yes. Blessing each other is actually important to them. Anyone can also curse. So they believe that everyone's behavior should be very honorable, respectful, kind, beauty to each other, because we all have the power to bless or to curse. And so everyone's held to that high standard of behavior.
All right. Vanessa?
So in Vanvania, we believe that those who came before were actually the very first set of alkalites. And they became deities after their ascension, after they finished their main goals that they had to, what they were brought to become alkalites in the first place. We worship them through games of skill and combat. And depending on some of the things that you can accomplish in your life, you will go through rituals of where you will get certain ritualistic scars. And you earn those based on different things that you have done. We believe that breaking honor is your biggest sin. It is a biggest sin that sometimes, and most of the time, involves the only way that you can bring that back is through your own death. So, of course, our biggest virtue is honor.
Hey, Big Don.
So the aspects of those who came before that Downton Abbey specifically focus on, because Downton Abbey kind of tends to be an arena for openness. They will celebrate all of the aspects of those who came before, but the ones that are specific to Downton Abbey are the auspices of discovery, invention, and community, being able to grow with each other on an intellectual basis. They have twice a year as well, in the summer and in the winter. They have a festival during the solstice time, and lunar celebrations. The summer is called the Feast in Summer, and it celebrates the bountifulness of invention, the bountifulness of intellect, and they take on a lot of the resources from the surrounding other islands, and they have a big feast and a big celebration where everyone kind of brings out some of their inventions and shows off a lot of things that they've done. And then in the wintertime, they have what's called the famine of winter, or the famine in winter, where they will fast all day, no one works, and it's a time of kind of reflection and contemplation, keeping in mind the idea of without intellect, without innovation, we stop really living for what we are, but then also being also celebrating the bountifulness of when there are a lot of different things going on. So the cardinal sins that are more focused on in the dogma of in Downton Abbey, minor sin would be sloth, because it shows a lack of initiative, not contributing to the society. And then fraud, plagiarism, theft of someone's physical or intellectual properties. Those would be major sins in Downton Abbey, because it takes away someone's inventiveness and it discourages them from continuing on with what they're doing. And then murder is actually a capital sin in Downton Abbey, not necessarily because you are solely killing someone. That is part of it, but a lot of it is looked upon as you are ending someone's ability to contribute to the intellectual grandioseness of Downton Abbey. And so they look at it as a forceful ending of someone's intellectual journey. through their life. And then they actually have named the aspect that they celebrate and worship as the brothers. And they are normally, when you will see a temple in Downton Abbey, it will be open to all aspects of those who came before, but there will always be a statue of two brothers that represent invention and destruction in their temples, and normally they're faceless men that are standing in, one in very nice, very clean-cut clothing, and then the other one in what looks to be drab, tattered clothing, representing that without invention, you don't journey forward, but without destruction, invention really has no place to go.
Very cool. All right, Joshy.
Lake Thomas has a temple dedicated almost solely to life. Life is precious for all, and no one life is greater than another. It is about equal distribution and equal appreciation of each other and their life and their accomplishments and everything associated with it.
See, now he's good.
The people of Lake Thomas, they worship life every time there's a birth. Every time there's a birth, they literally throw like a party in their cities. So
really, Lake Thomas is the fertility island because you're growing crops and people.
Very much so. It's in the water. Probably literally.
Don't take a bath in Lake Thomas.
To live is to celebrate.
Even you guys.
Yeah.
To live is to celebrate, and to live is to honor those who came before. Capital sins were murder, because it is the removal of life. But oddly enough, the caste system is treated almost as a sin as well. To be caught treating anyone higher or lower than yourself could be punishable. But reproduction, so they reproduce like rabbits. And just living, just enjoying.
No birth control on Lake
No
Thomas.
birth control on Lake Thomas. Just living and enjoying that the deities have given them. Now we're gonna make money doing it.
That's probably why Lake Thomas and Downton Abbey don't get along. 'Cause Downton Abbey's going, bro, I work my butt off, and they're like, dude, we chill.
I'm a socialist state, apparently.
Yeah, you are definitely. I was gonna say that.
We are an apolitical podcast.
Yes, that's right. I was gonna say that, but I'm glad that you did, because I don't have to.
That's what ganja does too. It's like, you know what? Here, you have some too.
Everybody.
Avital.
Okay, so
Shangri-La.
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 For them, those who came before, they know that there is actually something there, but they don't. Like I said, they kind of, not like one person isn't any better than the other, so they don't really. There's not like specifics, and they're not saying, oh, this specific god or person. It's just, the group of people that are past, and so there's no like specific temples or anything like that. It's just it goes along with like the whole mentality of peace and harmony. Is that
Friendship is magic.
Yeah, friendship is magic.
Friendship is magic.
They just kind of like everywhere is a place of worship for them in a way, simply because just keeping that harmony with one another is honoring those who came before. So then basically like the worst type of sin is purposefully causing strife, which covers a lot of things, obviously, including hurting people and killing people, etc. But like, if you realize that something you are doing is, causing strife with another person, and you continue to do it after that, and that's also wrong. But yeah, so they're even though they are devoted to their religion, it is not there is not establishments of religion and things like that. So
How does that make you feel since you are an acolyte of said religion?
it is an honor to be chosen for this. I mean, that is obvious, but it is. I'm not looking to, be remembered. I'm simply looking to impact the world for good.
All right. And Josh Prime.
So, the island of Joshinati, every 100 years they sacrifice a white steer to venerate all of those that came before them. So they believe that they are more of a deific entities and that there's multiples of them. But
A steer or a stud?
A steer.
Oh, okay.
So a cow, or
Okay.
So they have the horses and the cow.
Yeah.
Okay.
A cow.
They have one cow.
A pure
year.
white cow.
A pure white cow that's been bred down from the same line for generations.
Yeah. So in each community,
A purebred cow.
We have a white cowsel.
it produces chocolate milk, though, which really confuses people. So, anyway.
Wait, hold on. He said something very important. I want to make sure everyone hear it.
I heard it.
What?
Say what you just
I said it produces chocolate milk. So it confuses a lot of people. It's white chocolate, though.
It's white
It's white
chocolate.
chocolate.
Which actually isn't chocolate.
Chocolate. No.
I mean,
It's a
anyways.
confection.
Still comes from the same bean.
So they sacrifice one pure white steer every 100 years to venerate all of the those that came before them. But their main focus is worshiping the goddess of life and death.
So they've only had to kill 3 cows.
Yeah, it's not much. I mean, but they're really nice cows.
They're really nice. They're pretty cows.
We thought they found one. We better kill it.
I mean, yeah. So part of their sins would be killing out of malice, or having no real regard or value for other people, or life in general. Like having no real value for, like, even just hunting for sport and that kind of a thing would be considered a sin. Like some of their virtues would be aspiring to better yourself, and being productive in your life. Because basically the values, I mean, the idea is that if you kill someone or if you kill a creature, you're more or less destroying the natural order of things, or you're tampering with the natural order of things. And if you aren't doing things to better your life, then you're also doing a disservice to the goddess of life and death, because the point behind being alive is to make the most out of what you have. You know?
So I've seen a lot of people have some similar ideas. Why don't you go ahead, just around the table, quick, and then we'll jet out of here. What are some things that you noticed that were the same with everyone, and what is maybe one thing that everyone had different?
Well, it was respect for life, I think, was 100%. I think every single one of us commented about it in some way, shape, or form. It's a simple thing, but that a respect for life and taking away that life was bad in some way, shape, or form in all of ours.
Yeah.
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 Except for mine, which taking your own life was actually a good thing if you broke your honor.
Right, but taking that of another is still frowned upon.
Right.
In yours.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and that's where I was going to say a difference between people was how the way they treated each other. I think everybody. It's not that we didn't respect each other, but where people's places were in society were determined differently. Some were treated all equally. Some were based off their merit. Some based off their honor. You know, that was a difference. Was that your position in society was based off of some particular attribute.
All right, and I think just for time's sake, we're going to wrap up here, and we will pick up with the rest of Session 0 in a future recording. So we want to take us out of here, Don?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the last episode of the Established Facts, episode 180, we established a lot of established facts. So make sure you go back and listen to them because they're great. There was literally like 7.
Some people read.
Yeah, some people read was
In
the
this
final
case,
point.
It's a Yaggin.
Be the people that listen.
Yeah, be the people that listen. On this episode of the Established Facts, episode 181, we have established a news report.
Oh.
That's right. This just in. That's right. Jason Devaine's famous Lake Thompson herbal storage house burns down in a tragic accident. Mayor responded by saying, "Bro, it's totally chill. Now, can you pass me the Oreos?" Thank you so much for joining us on episode 181 of the Established Facts, and we will check you later.
Bye. Please visit us at www.theestablishedfacts.com and our Facebook page, facebook.com/theestablishedfacts. If you would like to support us by buying some merchandise, visit cafepress.com/castingrobot.
Bonus